mess with my heart or something. I'm back to tell the truth channel. Please like, share my content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and what other content that y'all go on. I appreciate that very much. I am in Jesus and Jesus is in me. All right. I have a message that I want to speak to y'all about, and it's for the married people and the people that's starting to get married. This is what I want to talk about to y'all. Now, I want to say first I'm gonna give y'all an example, and then I'm gonna talk about it. Okay, when my mother and father was married, and my father did some things that he shouldn't have had did. You know, he stepped out the marriage and all of that stuff he did. And he didn't treat my mother like he should have been treating her like a queen, which he wasn't. Because my father was messing around with all kind of different women when he was married to my mother. And my mother still loved my father. Even though he did what he did, she still loved him. And when my mother passed on, because she passed on way before my father did, she passed on. Um, my mother been gone like 10, 30 some years. She been gone a long time. And my father was still alive. And when my father was alive and my mother was alive, my father was messing around with this lady. And he used to take me around this lady that he was messing around with. And she had a daughter. And her daughter, I was close, like not really close to her daughter, but I knew her daughter. And he would always take me around, to the women's that he dated. And I was like, 9 years old and stuff like that. Because I was so close to my daddy. I just loved my daddy. I was my daddy's baby. I just loved my daddy. And I wanted to go everywhere my daddy went. So everywhere my daddy went, I went with him. And when my daddy used to get off work and stuff, and I used to see him getting off the bus, because back then, my daddy didn't have no car back then, so he used to catch the bus to work. And when he used to get off work, I used to be standing on the porch waiting on my daddy to get off work, because I always knew what time he used to get off work. So as soon as he got off work, man, I would run right down them stairs and run right to my daddy and jump in my daddy's arms and say, "Hey, daddy." And he'll say, "Hey, baby." He always called me his baby. Every time he called me on the phone and whatever, he'd say, "Hey, baby," all the time. So I miss hearing my daddy call me baby, because he always called me his baby. "Hey, baby," all the time. So anyway, when my mama had passed on, and my daddy had did all of that what he had did to her, you know, because that kind of made my brothers and sisters angry for the way my father used to treat my mother. They was angry at him. And they always wonder why I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry because, like the father said, you have to honor your mother and father regardless of what they do. You have to honor them and leave it to God and let God handle it. So even though I know my daddy was doing wrong, I still honored my mother and father, and I left it to God, because he had to deal with God at the end of the day. He had to deal with God. So I wasn't angry at him, because I didn't have no reason to be angry at him, because what he did, he knew what he was doing, and he knew that at the end of the day that he was going to have to meet the father. He knew he was going to have to meet him. So anyway, when my father passed on, when my mother passed on, and my father, he passed on a couple of my father been going for probably like 6 years or something like that. He been gone. And because he just recently, one too long, passed on. And my father came to me when he passed on, and he was dating this lady, and he was saying to me, you know, how everybody was treating her. Because me and my father literally was having a conversation. We was talking. And he said that he didn't like the way my brothers and them was treating her. And I said to him that I didn't have nothing against the woman. Because, you know, I didn't know her, really. But I didn't have nothing against her. You know, I treated her with respect. I never had nothing against her. Even though when my mother passed and he was dating this woman, I didn't never have nothing against him, you know. Now this is not the woman that I was talking about with the daughter, because this woman that he had, the woman that had the daughter, he married her. He married this woman. When my mama passed, he married this woman. And then he met before he passed. He was dating this other lady, but he was still married to this other lady. And then he messed around with another lady. See, this what mans do. When they with you, and they still want to step out in the marriage, even though they with their wives, they still want to step out. And they don't understand the consequences that they are putting on themselves when they disrespect God, because they disrespecting God. When they disrespect their marriage, they disrespecting God. Because once you sit there and once you do that vow and you do that covering with God and you start stepping out on your marriage, you disrespecting God, because you made a covenant with God to be with each other to death do part. Okay? So, before the death came apart, my father was doing some things before my mother passed. And my mother knew all of this, you know, but she still loved my father. But anyway, after he married this other lady, and he left her and went to another lady, and he died. And when he died, he was talking about the lady that he was with, and he was talking about how we treated her and all that. I didn't treat her no kind of way. I loved her, you know. I had nothing against her. I loved her because she treated me, you know, good. She never treated me in no kind of way. But then when my father passed, she started acting funny with me and stuff, doing a lot of crazy things like hanging up on me and all that. And I'm wondering, like, why you treating me like this when I never did nothing to you? But my brothers and sisters, they didn't like you at all. But you know, getting cool with them and treating me like dirt. So when my father came to me and I told him what happened, and he told me, well, the reason why she act like that because she think that we didn't like her. I said, look, I told my daddy, look, I haven't had nothing against this woman. Nothing against her. I loved her. I don't know why she treated me the way she did, because I loved her. I didn't have nothing against her, you know. Because my father would take me around to, you know, spend some time with her, you know. And I had nothing against her. Because everything my father did, I left it in God's hands, because he knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew it. And he knew at the end of the day that he was going to meet the maker. He knew he was going to meet God. He already knew all this. All he did, he knew he was going to meet God. But my brothers and them, they was angry at him, you know. And like the father say, honor your mother and father. And I always honor my mother and father. So my father, he did what he did. So when my mother passed, and my father seen my mother up in heaven, and I was right there listening to everything they was talking about. I was right there. And my father came to my mother. He went to see her. And they up in heaven now, okay? They up in heaven. And he went to see her. And he wanted to get back with my mother. And my mother said no, because she already had somebody else that she didn't want him back. And see, when you treat your wife disrespectful, or your husband, and all of a sudden when you pass, you want to be in eternity with that person, it's not going to work, because you done treated this person like they was nothing on earth. What makes you think the person going to want to be with you in eternity? So he didn't think about that. He didn't think about that because my mother had already had somebody before my father came up there. She was with somebody else. And I guess my daddy thinks she wasn't with nobody else, but she had somebody else. And she told him she was dating somebody else, that she didn't want him. But then the woman that he was dating, she passed not too long behind my daddy. Because my daddy passed first. And then like 2 months later, she passed. That was weird. But yeah, after my father passed, then the woman that he was dating, she passed. Okay? So after my mother would not take my father back, he went to the lady and they was living together up there in heaven. Him and this woman, they was living together. And when he did all of that, and my mother told him she didn't want him back. And he went to her, this other woman that he was with at first, and she took him back because I don't think she even knew that my mother and my father had a conversation, So she took him back. And the point I'm trying to get to y'all, that when God put you together and you treat your wife or your husband with respect on this earth, and y'all make a covenant to God that y'all gonna be together to death do part, then that should stay to death do part. Because after that person passed and you have not treated that person with respect, that person ain't gonna want you in heaven. They're not gonna want to be with you. Why? Why would they want to be with you after you treated them bad down here and think they're gonna accept you up in heaven? No, they're not. Because y'all don't think that people get married up in heaven. Or they get married up in heaven. All of that. They do it. They do all of that. They get married, they have sex, all of that up in heaven. They do it. All of that. They do it up in heaven. Yes. And like I said, I talked to him and everything. And we were sitting there like my father was like literally still on earth. And we was talking. And when I'm sitting here talking to my father, I touched him. And when I touched him, he felt it like abomination. Like I touched him. And when I touched him, I felt nothing. It was just like he was blowed up. And he felt like a balloon. That's the way he felt. And I pulled my hand back. But I'm literally having a conversation with him. So, this the point, y'all, I'm trying to get to y'all. God, if you are treating your wife or your husband with respect, and y'all ask God, well, Father, I wants to be with my wife when she pass on, and when I pass on, I want to be with her. So if you treat her with respect on this earth, and you tell God that you want to be with your wife in heaven, that's what you're going to get, because you ask God for that. So whatever you ask God down here on earth, this is what God give you in heaven. So if you say, God, I want a mansion in heaven, and you tell God that, then God gonna give you that mansion in heaven because you asked God that you told God you wanted a mansion in heaven. That's the way he works. So whatever you ask God, God will receive. But you have to be righteous on God's earth. You have to be righteous to receive the things that you want from God. So just like he say, what you loose on earth, you loose in heaven. What you ask on earth, you get in heaven. That's the way it goes. So when y'all sit here and y'all treat people disrespectful and all that, and then y'all thinking that these people don't remember the way y'all treated them, and then when you pass on, and then all of a sudden you thinking you finna be with this person don't want you. They don't want you because you treated them like they wasn't nothing on earth. So what makes you think they know you're not going to treat them the same way in heaven? So no, they're not going to take you back. They're not. They've been to move on with somebody else that's going to make them happy. And that's the way it is. See, y'all don't understand that when you die, you still have a life. But it's just not an earthly life. It's a heaven life. You still be able to dance, go to school, church up in heaven. It's all of that. It got churches, schools, parks, all of that. They even driving in old cars back in the days. They driving all that stuff. So they have a home. They have a home, and like a home up in heaven. Like God said, he have many mansions up in heaven. So it's many, 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 many mansions in heaven. And some of the people, and the people up there in heaven is living in these mansions that God has. So everybody has a place to live in God's house that does the right thing. Yeah, this is what y'all got to understand. That's the way it is. So I want to talk to y'all about something else. Okay? You know how when you are married, again, about married people, and I'm not just going to say the man's because the women's do it too. When you are married and you step out on your wife and start dating, because I was watching this movie one day, okay? And I saw this movie with these two women. And this man was married to two women. And because this is really happening in real life. That's why I'm talking about it, because it's happening in real life too. So he was married to two women. And he thought that these women weren't going to find out a bit about each other because they lived, I'm not going to say an hour away. I would say a distance away from each other. They weren't that far away from each other. So one day the lady had got some mail in the that came in the mail, and she read it and she saw something that didn't look right to her. So she started doing her research on it. And when she did the research, she found out that he was married to another woman. So she went to the house where this woman and this man stayed, her husband, and met the wife. Because that was his first wife that found all these papers, found this stuff. So she went to the house and she met the second wife. And when she met her, they started, getting along with each other. They was going at it. They acted like they wanted to fight each other, but they had to understand that it wasn't about them, it was about the man. So they sitting up there, they going at it with each other. Then they finally realized, okay, this is not about us. It's about him, because he the ones did all of this. He stepped out, not us. He did this. Because these women was faithful to this man. They didn't have no other mans in their life. They just had this one man. They thought they only had one man. They didn't know that they had to share the man, So they waited, and they was talking and they was plotting and everything. But the lady that came to the second wife house, she had a gun in her purse. But see, the second wife didn't know that she had a gun. Oh, she came to kill both of them. Yes, she came to kill both of them. But when the second wife started getting along real good and talking and everything, they started plotting on the man, saying what they was going to do to him and all that. Talking about burying him in the backyard and all that stuff. They had it all planned, what they was going to do to that man. They had it all planned. So they waited and waited and waited. They drinking and ordering out food and all that, taking his money, just spending it up, using his card, just spending it up, buying food, buying drinks, everything, just doing all willy-nilly with his money because they angry at him. So they waiting on him to get off work. Soon as he get off work, he comes in the house. His second wife, because he was living with her, because he bought his second wife a mansion and bought his first wife a condo. Okay? So his first wife was angry because he only bought her a condo, but he bought this second wife a mansion. So his first wife felt that he loved her, his second wife, more than he loved his first wife, because he bought her a condo and bought her a mansion. So they was talking and plotting on him and everything, talking about what they gonna do to him and all that stuff. Soon as he came through the door, the second wife, she greeted him and all that stuff. And when she greeted him, all of a sudden, the first wife came, because he didn't know that she was there. And his second wife said, "Well, I got a surprise for you. Keep your eyes closed." And so he kept his eyes closed because he was ready for that surprise. And the first wife walked around and he opened his eyes and saw her, and he was in a state of shock because he saw both of his wives looking at him. So they started plotting at him and asking him questions. Why you did this? Why you did that? Why would you marry this woman? Why would you marry that woman? And why would you do this to us? Do that to us? And all that stuff. And he couldn't say nothing. He was looking stupid. He couldn't even answer the questions. That's how stupid he looked. So man's got to understand that's how stupid they is when they do dumb things. That's how stupid they is. So anyway, when they did all that, when they was, talking to him and all that, and he couldn't say nothing, they flipped it around on him and say, well, we both love you, but we want to share you. But see, that was just a front to see how he was going to act on it, because they didn't want to share him. That was just something they were saying, and see how he going to act on it. So he agreed on it like, okay, so y'all want to share me, huh? So they said, yeah, we want to share you. So he said, okay, so if y'all want to share me, I want to tell y'all something. And then they say, what? Well, I got a girlfriend that I'm dating, and I've been dating her for 3 years, for 3 months. Oh my God. That's what he said. And they look like, what? Are you crazy? Are you stupid, or are you crazy? That's the way they looked at him. So he said, yeah, so I want to share all three of y'all together. And his first wife looked at him and she turned, oh my God, she just started, she snapped. She snapped because her and her second wife, and his second wife already plotted about killing him. But this lady, his first wife, was seriously coming to kill both of them. So when they started being friends, the second wife didn't think that she really was going to do what she said that they was going to do, because she was just talking. But the first wife wasn't talking. She was straight serious. So when he said all that, she pulled out that gun. She pulled out the gun and she aimed it at him, and she aimed it at the second wife. And then the second wife said, wait a minute now. Why you pointing it at me? Ain't we cool? Ain't we cool? Wait a minute now. What you finna kill me for? You don't supposed to be putting the gun towards me. We supposed to be taking him out. Remember, we plot this, right? And then the first wife say, yeah, but I'm angry at both of y'all, because both of y'all disrespect me. That's what the first wife said. So they looked at each other. She gave her a look like, I'm not finna shoot you, but I'm finna shoot him. Because the second wife, she caught it from the first wife when she was letting her know that I'm not finna kill you, but I'm finna kill him, because they came friends. But see, he didn't know that. So he begging the first wife not to kill him. And he talking about, well, we could just be together. We don't need them. I don't want her, and I don't want the other girl. I just want you. All of a sudden, now you want her. Now you want your first wife after she got the gun on you. Now you want to be with her. And you don't want the other ladies. You just want her now. And the first wife said, yeah, okay, that's what you say. She took that gun. She said, you know what? I'm looking at your head, and I think that'll be the best place where I should blow your head off at. But no, I don't know. Maybe I should shoot you in your penis. Like that. So he looking, because he don't know which way she finna shoot that gun, at his head or the penis. So she put the gun, and she just like, pop, and shot him straight in the head. She killed him. She killed him. She shot him straight in the head. And when she shot him straight in the head, the second wife was like, she was in a state of shock, because she didn't really think that she was going to shoot him. But she did, because she came there to kill him and her. Because of what he did. She already had snapped when she found out that he was married to somebody else. And then found out that she living in a condo, and he's living in, and his second wife living in a mansion. Oh, she snapped. So she came to kill both of them. But it wasn't for her to kill her, because it wasn't her fault. She didn't tell her husband to come to her. So she didn't have no right to take it out on her. She had to take it out on him. So that's what she did. She took it out on him and she killed him. So they got ready to, get rid of his body, because they didn't want to get caught about what they did. But the man that lived next door saw them with the body wrapped up in the rug, and he saw all that blood in the rug, and they was telling him that was wine, but that man knew it wasn't no wine. He knew it was blood. So he was telling them how to dispose the body, how to get rid of it. And they was shocked to even hear this man next door tell them how to get rid of his body. Yeah. So the man joined in with them. So This is what I'm saying. This is what's happening out here in the real world. Man's out here messing around on their wives, thinking that their wives ain't gonna snap. The same way. Now this go for a man and a woman, not just for men. This go for the women's too, because women's is doing it too. And it's making man snap, because if you got a man that love you and only want to be with you, and you out here messing around on this man and he finds out and all that, yeah, he gonna snap. The same way with a woman. If she love this man and she only love this man, and this man decide he want to mess out on her and go mess around with somebody else, yeah, she gonna snap. Yeah, that's the way it is. You messing with people's hearts and mind. And when you mess with people's hearts and mind, that means you about to lose your life, because you messing with somebody's heart then gave they self to you and they mind, and then you trying to trample all up on it. And that's what makes a person kill ya. See, that's what y'all got to understand. You don't play with people's lives. You don't play with people's hearts. You don't play with people's minds, because when you do, it backfire on you. It backfire on you. That's what happened. So yeah, this is what I want to talk to y'all about. So this is what's going on out here in the world. So y'all need to think about what I just said. Think about it, because people out here now is not time, and women's and men's ain't got time for this. They don't want to be married with somebody, and then this man or this woman want to go out, decide they want to go step out and be with somebody else and hurt this person hard and mind, and thinking they're not going to snap. That will make anybody snap. When you think you with the right person and then all of a sudden they dogging you, that makes anybody snap. So this is what I want to talk to y'all about. Thank y'all for listening to me. Jesus love you, Father love you, the Holy Ghost, the angels, the ancestors, and I love y'all. And I will be back to talk to y'all again soon. Y'all have a good day and a blessed day.